to me out of the blue. He says, why do Jews come and stab Muslim babies in the middle of the night? This is a 7-year-old boy.
Okay.
He's asking, why do Jews come and stab Muslim babies in the middle of the night? So where is this coming from? These are two professional doctors.
Yeah. Why didn't you ask them? Why didn't you ask the parents? I don't know them.
No, but
It is like the Jews, you know, when you speak to their children and you get a similar response. Yes? Then what would you say? Are you going to stereotype all the Jews? Obviously not. Same applies to any other religion, you know. When you indoctrinate your children with extremist views, then they grow up to be maybe extremists, regardless of what religion you follow. And that, I don't think any religion has a monopoly on such extremism. Okay? Because you'll find such elements in all the religions, or even the non-religious elements in the society.
Stories or mythology within Muslim culture that
no, definitely.
these ideas of Jews coming in the middle of the night to
No, definitely not.
stop the-
I mean, as Muslims in the Quran, we have been instructed that we can marry the people of the book, who happen to be the Christians and the Jews. Now, if they were truly our enemies, all of them, then why do you think Allah instructed us that we are allowed to marry them? You know, marriage is more close than a friendship. You know that as a father and as a husband, right? It doesn't make sense if we label every single Jew, Christian as our enemies. It makes no sense that Allah would instruct us that we are allowed to marry them. Yes? You see what I mean? So just because you got a example of some child telling you something, yes? And that too, how old was the child?
7.
There you go. So a
I
7-year.
asked him who told you that Jews come and stab Muslim babies in the middle of the night. He said, it's my mother. My mother told me this.
Okay. And did you speak to the mother?
No, I haven't had the chance to speak to her. I think I might do.
Exactly,
I might
yeah.
do that. But these are two professional doctors, and that shocked me.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be shocked because most of the educated people today, yes, doesn't mean just because they're educated they cannot be extremists. And I'm talking about regardless of the religion. So you go to amongst the Jews and amongst the Muslims and amongst the Christians as well, and amongst the Hindus today, lots of people who are educated, yes, they happen to be extremists. So don't try to pin this on
I was
one
wondering whether there is
religion, because like I said,
you know, like mythology, like in European mythology, a parent might say, if you're bad, then the boogeyman might come and get you in the middle of the night.
yeah.
So I'm just wondering, within Islamic culture, is there
No, we don't have any
idea of
boogeyman.
the boogeyman being the Jew is going to come and stab
We
you?
don't have boogeyman specifically with regards to any religion. Because if you remember, during the time of Hitler, the Jews were the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Yes? And those were the Christians who were killing the Jews. So the biggest, what do you say, pogrom against the Jews was in Europe. I don't think any other religion killed more Jews than the Christians. Would you agree?
Oh, as far as I know, yes.
There you go. So the boogeyman happened to change over cultures and over time, I would say, depending on where you go. But yeah, as far as pure Islam is concerned, as far as the Quran and Hadith are concerned, we don't just stereotype everyone.
I have heard from Muslims and ex-Muslims that they've grown up with anti-Semitism within their culture. Is that something that you recognise from?
Not from the Quran,
stories
not from the Quran and Hadith. Okay, because even though the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was opposed by the Jews and even poisoned by a Jewish woman when he actually visited her. So we got our own Prophet being poisoned by a Jewish lady. Yes, even then there were many Jews who would come to Islam because they saw the treatment given to them was something which they never experienced before, and maybe that's the reason they accepted Islam. The same thing happened when the Jews were getting persecuted in Europe. Guess where they went to? They went to the Muslim lands. Yes?
So you're saying you haven't come across
I personally
story
haven't.
or mythology
No.
about
Not
Jews
from the Quran and
stabbing
Hadith.
babies?
Not from the Quran and Hadith.
Elsewhere
No,
that's shared within.
not that I know of.
Oh, the only thing that came to mind is that
Maybe you
the
should go
idea
ask-
from the Bible, that the story of is it King Herod, when he heard that the Messiah was coming,
Yeah.
and it was going to be a child of a certain age, he had children slaughtered, didn't he? Because he thought if he killed all the... Was it the slaughter of the firstborn, was it? Oh, no, I'm mixing that up with something about Moses, perhaps.
Yeah.
But there was that story about...
Yeah, that's in the Bible, not in the Quran.
Yeah, I know, but is it something that's discussed?
I have no idea. I mean, maybe you should go ask a parent, because I cannot judge on some experience of somebody else, what they did or what they said.
Within your personal experience?
Yeah, I personally don't know anything from the Quran or Hadith where we find such stories.
Okay, but expand that a bit, but within wider Islamic culture, is there mythology about Jews stabbing babies?
No, not that I know. Yes. But I'm sure, like I said, if you look at the Bible, you'll find a lot of anti-Semitism within there. Yeah? Are you a Christian, by the way?
No.
You're not? What faith would you say you are?
I don't have a faith. No, I'm a humanist.
A humanist. So do you believe in God as a humanist?
No.
You don't?
No, I think some humanists do, but I don't know.
So would you say you're like an atheist or agnostic?
Well, there's two ways of describing agnosticism, so I don't think it's possible to know.
To know?
Rather than somewhat agnostics say, I just don't know. I'm saying my view of agnosticism is that it's impossible to know.
It's impossible. So, well, if you reject God and you say it's impossible for God to exist, then you are,
no,
by
I'm
definition...
Not saying that. It's impossible to say whether it exists or not. It's impossible to improve.
Why do you say it's impossible?
It's not something you can do with like a scientific experiment. It's repeatable many, many times. So
yeah, but why? You're basically using the wrong tool to detect God.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like
they're the tools that I understand. So
it's basically like you using a metal detector to find plastic.
That's why I've probably never found it.
Because you see,
Using the wrong detector.
if you believe in scientism, which is kind of a religion as well, if you ask me, because they are blind following, they think that they can use science to identify everything and anything. Yes, because science is a tool which you can only use to detect and explain the material world. But you see,
I think there are some people who feel a need and then find themselves attracted to a faith, but I've never been
attracted to
a faith.
A faith.
Yes,
Yeah, but I believe scientism is kind of a faith. Because
it's trust. I would say it's trust.
yeah, but even trust is blind trust, because what are you doing?
It's not blind, because you can make a test and repeat it and you get the same answer time and time again. So it's not blind trust.
Okay, how will you find scientifically whether you have consciousness or not?
Well, there are some things that you cannot prove.
Exactly, but you believe you have consciousness, right?
Well, I experience it in the way that I understand it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the fact that you exist and you know you exist. Yes, do you know you exist?
Well, I feel as if I exist.
What does it tell about you? As long as you know, you're aware of your existence, yes, and that is something that you cannot deny, then you believe in that. Yes, you don't need someone to tell you that you exist when you yourself are aware of your own existence. And you see, you have already put faith in this fact which science cannot prove.
I live my life without the need, or without feeling a need to even approach that subject about.
Yeah, that's because you have accepted it already. You see what I mean? That's why you say I don't need to identify and detect and find evidence for this, because you have already accepted this within yourself and you have believed it now. And you know it, that you exist. Yeah? Now science cannot prove this empirically, if that's what you're suggesting, that your consciousness exists by, I don't know, putting you in some sort of a machine or some sort of a scanner. You see what I mean? They can find your organs and your lungs and your other elements within your body, which are material things, but your consciousness, they cannot detect under a scanner. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's going.
So you can't have a CT scan or an MRI to detect your consciousness.
Okay, it's like water off the duck's back for me, because
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I understand
the reason
of what you're saying.
Yeah, the reason you're not bothered about it is because you've already accepted it.
Yeah, it's I understand understand your logic, but it doesn't lead me anywhere.
Yeah, but you see, your logic itself emanates from your consciousness. Your logic, your rationality, your thinking, all these faculties of cognition that you utilize to understand science comes from your consciousness. Your entire basis of what you're thinking.
Subject now, so
Yeah, I know we have to, because obviously I can't respond to some anecdotal experiences people have. You see what I mean? So I have to talk to you about your own experiences. And like you told me that you believe in science and you believe having faith in science, but that is based on your material
Do you
world.
think if you were born a Buddhist, you would have found yourself eventually coming to Islam?
Yes, if I use the same faculties which I just told you about, then I would eventually go for what I consider and feel and experience as the truth. Okay? Because for me to live and completely ignore my own existence, let alone everything else, is basically myself fooling no one but myself.
It's just an accident that you happen to be born a...
Yeah, but there are many Buddhists who became Muslims. You ask them this question, ask them why did they become Muslims, and they will probably give you the same explanation, the same reason. That they were looking and searching.
Many people of many religions that haven't become Muslims.
I know, but many have as well. Yes, but you ask them this question, why did you become from a Buddhist to a Muslim, or from a Hindu to a Muslim, or from a Christian or a Jew to a Muslim, and they will give you their reasoning and their experiences, which most of the time, from what I've seen, is they use their rationality and their logic to understand things rather than just going by emotions.
But the religion that you are is mostly an accident of birth.
What do you mean accident of birth?
You are the religion of your
I don't believe anything is an accident. I believe in destiny.
You're a twinkle in your parents' eyes, yes, but...
Well, aren't your children?
Muslim parents don't create Buddhists, do they?
No, but many Muslims might become Buddhists. Yeah? Because the thing is, when you grow up, then you have the independence to inquire about your world. And this is something which is well noted in the Quran, that Allah actually instructs us to look around you and then to ask questions based on them. Yes? So Allah tells a human being to ask yourself this question, like who created you, whether you created yourself or did somebody create you. And when I say you, I don't mean you as being born from your parents, because we can always go back to your parents' parents and so on. Eventually you came to this world, you're not a result of an accident.
So okay, you've acknowledged that a Muslim can become a Buddhist.
Yes.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, and you tolerate that. That's okay. If a child of yours became of a different religion, changed religion.
Yeah.
So how would you deal with that?
Well, obviously, I won't like it. But I will.
Them?
Say again?
Would you shun them, or
would I shun them?
Yeah.
No, I would speak to them, ask them reasons why.
Would you go to their wedding?
Oh, you're asking me hypothetical questions.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do, but the question right now is, I think you should answer about what you would do if there was a life after death.
I would go to anyone's wedding. If a friend of mine said I'm getting married, regardless of whatever religion they were, I would go.
Yeah, but for me, wedding is like a 1-day event or 2-day event at the most. Yes, but I'm talking about your eternity. If you die tomorrow,
your child became a different religion.
I don't know. I think
wedding?
I can only answer that when I'm in that situation. I can't give you hypothetical answers right now.
I've seen someone not being asked this question. At the Houses of Parliament, there is a woman who is the chaplain to the Houses of Parliament. Just for descriptive reasons, I said, well, she's a black woman. I don't know if you've seen her. She's been on the programme on a Sunday morning, The Big Question, and she was asked then as an Anglican, I don't know if you call her a vicar, but maybe a chaplain. She was asked, would she go to a humanist wedding if her friend was a humanist and they were getting married at a humanist service, a ceremony, would she go to that wedding? And they were good friends with her. And she couldn't answer. on national television. It was severely embarrassing for her.
Yeah, but you're talking about a woman who's not even related to someone. You're asking her to go to a wedding.
Yeah, but really good friends of somebody.
Yes.
Say a really good friend of yours was a humanist and they asked you
Yeah.
to go to a wedding. Would you go to it? She couldn't answer. She refused, just like you now.
No, I'm not refusing. Don't pin that on me. I said I cannot answer unless I know I'm quite aware of that situation, what kind of situation it is. Because as a parent, obviously I love my children, regardless of what they do or how they are.
This is something for you to go away and think about that.
No, but what is more important for you? A wedding, which happens in a day or two, or a life after that, which might be for all eternity? What would you do if you realize that there really is a God after you die, that there really is a day of judgment after you die, and that you will be accountable for all the things that you have done in this world?
Well, I live my life as if I would be accountable for the things that I've done.
How do you know? How would you judge what is good or what is bad?
I can work it out for myself.
No.
Empathy and
But everyone's good and bad is subjective. Don't you believe that?
Well, I live it. Have you heard of the principle of the golden rule?
Which golden rule?
Well, it's called a golden rule, and there are maybe a couple of versions, a few versions of it, that you wouldn't treat people in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated yourself. So,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well,
Means means you generally treat people nicely. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it is as I said it means. That you treat people in a way that you'd want to be treated yourself, and also don't treat people in a way that you wouldn't want to be treated yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying, Everybody, yeah, why not? Because treating people nicely is something that every religion preaches. It's not something that a humanist came up with. If that's what you think.
Some religious people, well, no, it predates most religions. This comes from
Really?
many thousands of years ago.
How old is humanist religion?
Well, as old as the Tibetan religion.
How do you know that? Name me a humanist during the time of, say, Abraham.
Well, I name you Buddha. He was a humanist.
Abraham came much later after Abraham.
I'm not sure.
You see what I mean?
I don't know what.
Exactly. What you're saying is speculation. A humanist, most of the values that the humanist got from is most likely from religions. Yeah? What? No. You name me a humanist during the time of Abraham. Go on. You can't. The reason you can't is because
thousands of years ago, this idea of the golden rule existed thousands of years ago, and it came about.
How many years is thousands of years ago? 2,000, 3,000?
5,000.
Okay, name me a humanist 5,000 years ago. Go on. You cannot, my friend. The reason for that is because, like I said,
I mean,
religions. Listen.
What year was Buddha? What year was it?
Buddha was just after, I think, probably just after maybe Jesus or something, around that time, or maybe 600 years before Jesus. It can't be more than that. So, right?
Underestimating. I think you're I'm not certain.
No, Buddha is not that long ago. Trust me. Maybe 600. Like I said, maybe 600 years before Jesus. Okay.
The golden rule reappears throughout religious history and in non-religious history as well.
Yeah. How old is the golden rule? Tell me. Exactly. So don't assume things you don't know.
Yeah, but it's as old as humanity.
Yeah, but when you say humanity, for me that is Adam, during the time of Adam. Okay, and Adam for us as a Muslim and as a Jew, someone who's a Jew and someone who's a Christian, was the first man. And he was instructed by God, which means he got religious instructions how to lead a way of life. And he has to abide by those instructions, and that to me is a religion.
People who have no religious instruction can still recreate this law without any...
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a universal, what do you say,
because it works.
Unwritten rule and morality. Like, for example, killing is bad, raping is bad, stealing is bad.
Yeah, so these things don't necessarily come from God.
No, hold on. But one thing you forget is this. Human nature is such that if you realize that there is no consequences for your action, then nothing will stop you from taking into account. Really? Yeah. Are you telling me a humanist never lies?
Well, that's a different.
Why is it different? To me, lying is one of the major sins. You see what I mean? And that's why I was telling you earlier, what is good and what is bad are subjective. If you do not have religion as your...
You're not going to always act in a moral way?
I didn't say you'll always act immorally. I'm saying there's nothing as a consequence to someone who doesn't practice a religion to uphold their objective moralities, because they don't have objective moralities as a base.
The fact that you need a book to know morality, what is right or wrong. How do I know that you yourself?
I don't say I need a
moral
book.
person that
No,
knows
no,
right
no,
from
no, no.
wrong.
I did not
Because
say.
you can't work it out.
I did not
unless you
say.
read it and open the book.
Yeah, I did not say I need a book to know that lying is bad.
Okay, you
Okay?
work that out for yourself.
What about you? Do you think lying is bad?
Okay, well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad because you can help people by lying. Sometimes.
Yeah. What about if it was just your benefit?
Well, that might be selfish. So,
But do you think that for a humanist, hold on, for a humanist,
that's a moral
imagine
dilemma.
this, for a humanist, is there any consequence if you lie as a selfish person to get yourself out of trouble? Is there any consequence for that?
Kids learn this from a very early age that they can get away with things. Even like 3-4 years old, and they'll lie because they know.
Yeah, I
they can
know.
get
But
away
would you as a father, would you encourage that for your children?
No, you used to say up to a father to teach.
To teach what? Not to lie. Yes? But when the father himself says, as long as you don't get away, as long as you get away by lying, then you can. What would you say as a humanist to that person? Would you say it's immoral? Because that's his view.
A situation where it is good to lie.
Yeah, I can't think of many situations where it's good to lie. In fact, as a Muslim, yes, there are situations where, for example, if two people are arguing, yes, and you can reconcile between them by a lie, provided it doesn't harm anyone, but it reconciles them, then that is something which you use as an exception, but not the rule. Yes? Normally the rule is you do not tell a lie. For example, if you, for example, you can. For example, if somebody wants to, I don't know, there are situations today in India where some of these extremist Hindus are telling Muslims at the edge of a sword or at the edge of a gun, yes, to say, I don't know, say something like some religious words from Hinduism, like say Hare Krishna, Hare Ram or something like that. Yes? These Muslims are basically now forced to say something against their wishes. Yes, they are told to renounce their religion and to encourage and acknowledge the religion which they are opposed to, in the sense of having more than one God. Now, this is called shirk, one of the greatest sins in Islam. But in the Quran, Allah says that if your life is in danger, then Allah gives you a leeway here as an exception. Yes, that even though you're telling, even though you're under coercion, so you're under threat to your life. So in that situation, you can tell a lie, but it's a lie which is just basically, it's to protect yourself. But in your heart, you know you're a Muslim. In your heart, you haven't given up your religion. So here, Allah is telling you that your life is more important and is given a higher status in terms of safeguarding your life against someone who is coercing you to say things against your religion, against your will. So these are the two examples I give you. Another example is, for example, if your wife...
Let me give you an example.
Okay, go on.
You know, the electoral polls have been coming out with wrong results for years. People lie about who they vote for.
Yeah.
Because they find that the general public gives people a hard time if they admit they're a conservative, for example. So they don't say they're conservative because the public bullies them for being conservative.
Yeah. I mean, that's your right not to say, but this is what I'm saying is that as a humanist, what I'm saying, do you have any consequence? What is the consequence if somebody lies and gets somebody else in trouble? For example, they bear a false witness or false testimony.
Let me say, it's human nature. When you do something you know to be wrong, you feel bad about it.
Yeah, you feel guilty, okay.
Yeah, so to avoid...
But that's not a consequence.
Well,
that's not a consequence.
People are good because it makes them feel good.
No, but your guilty conscience
They don't always
your guilty conscience might disappear eventually.
Yeah, but when it comes to
that person who might be jailed because of your false testimony or your lie is the one who really is suffering because of your lie. So as a humanist, do you have any consequences that has real life consequences other than just your...
I can become a miserable person, a miserable, bitter person. If I don't admit to myself that I've done something
you don't, because
wrong.
you know if somebody...
When the next dilemma comes along, I'll remember how bad I felt because I did whatever. I'm not going to do that again because I felt awful for months and years after I did this thing, so I won't do it again.
Yeah, but
I felt so miserable.
this feeling of
Maybe
yours.
I turned to drink because I did something
Yeah.
that was really
So
bad.
this
No,
feeling
I
of
won't do it.
yours.
I won't do that.
This feeling of yours. The reason you went drinking is because to forget these problems of yours.
So
Am I right?
Well,
So
it's a
you're
hypothetical situation.
it's not hypothetical. You just gave me a situation which is very. If you ask me, this happens very in the real world. It does. Many people do drink to forget their troubles.
And hopefully people become wiser as they get older and say, well, I'm not going to do that again because I know how bad that made me feel.
So basically, to stop one sin, I would consider lying a sin. You go into another sin, i.e., drinking, which harms your body, which is also a sin. So you see,
you don't have to turn to religion to deal with these issues.
no,
You can
I
become
agree. Look,
wiser
what
and-
I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there are no humanists who tell the truth most of the time and do not lie. I'm not saying that. There are good people, whether you're humanist, whether you're an atheist, whether you're agnostic, and whether you're religious or non-religious. There are good and bad people in all the spectrum. Yes. However, the question to you is this: other than feeling guilty, there is no consequences, because as far as I know, that person you gave false testimony against is behind bars. He's the one having.
Well, I might get found out in the end, you know.
Exactly.
It might be a real
Exactly my point.
consequence of it.
But if you don't get found out, he's one behind the bars. His family is the one that's going to suffer. If he has children, they're going to suffer. You see how important it is to acknowledge that lying is wrong, and to understand that there is consequences for that. So that's the reason I asked you about the life after death earlier on. That if the life after death is real, what have you prepared for that?
As I said before, I live my life as if everything I do in it will be judged
Judged by whom?
by whoever wishes to judge me,
Whoever, meaning what? After life or before life? After death or before?
regardless.
No, I'm asking. You see,
This is my answer.
if you,
I'm doing as best
okay,
I can.
your answer
Regardless of whether
doesn't.
there is an afterlife or not, I'm living my life as best as I can.
Yeah, but that's subjective, isn't it? When you say my life as best as I can, yes, so that is subjective. And also the fact that if you do something wrong and you're not found out, whether it's lying or whether it is some other major crime or something like that, there is no consequence for you.
Yes, there is. I've explained the consequence to you, but you
If
said-
you're found out, I said if you're not found out.
I've already explained that to you because
About a guilty feeling?
yes. So, but what you then said is forget about that.
No, I didn't say
and
forget
then
about
give
that.
me another one. Well, I've already given you the one.
No, I didn't say forget about. What I'm saying is that there are many people who have a guilty conscience when they commit the first, I don't know, when they the first crime or offense or a lie or something like that. Yes, but if they become, it becomes a reputation. Yes, if they become compulsive liars, that guilty feeling goes away.
That's in your opinion.
No, it's not my opinion. This is a fact. There are many people who have no guilty conscience. I'm talking about people. No, it's not subjective. There are repeat offenders, and that includes people who are compulsive liars, people who are compulsive pickpockets, who steal a lot. Honestly, those people, if you ask them and you question them, they will give you all sorts of justification for their crimes.
I'm getting very hot here in the sun. I think maybe I need to stand in the shade for a bit.
No problem. If you want, we can move to the shade. But what I'm saying is that there has to be consequences for sins and for the crimes that people commit. And this is only fair in a system where you believe that there is a God and God knows everything. And ultimately, you are going to be accountable in front of God Almighty, because He is the one who can provide the best justice. Because I don't think people like drug barons. Yeah, let's move. Guys, can we move to the? Hello, cameraman. Guys, can we move down there, inshallah? Eh? I'm all right. I was getting a bit, but I like sun. No, we hardly get sun. Assalamualaikum, everything, brothers. All right. Yeah, we just thought we'll come in the shade.
In the shade is better.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll stop for now, and maybe we'll talk again.
You want to stop? Yeah. No
Yeah,
problem.
we'll stop for now.
No, he wants to stop. That's fine. What's your name, by the way?
Robert.
Robert. Very nice speaking to Robert. But anyway, I mean, do consider looking, because you look like a person with an open mind. Yes. So do consider looking into Islam. I don't know. Have you read the Quran?
I got to the, you know, this blue book I've seen people carrying around. You get given it on the.
Sorry, which one?
The small little blue.
Oh, the blue book. You got that?
Yeah. And I started reading. I think one of the first pages that I came across in that book, it said, "This is a book for believers, people who believe in God."
Yeah.
So I shut it down.
No, but why is that? For people who believe in God already, it's easier for them to understand this. But when you look into the book as a whole, okay, then you come to understand about what God expects of you.
I might try again, but that was
Yeah.
the first,
I mean,
first obstacle I
Don't
came across.
correct term where you say you treat everyone nicely, you treat someone,
Have
another human
Have
being.
you ever looked into it to see what it's about?
Yeah, I mean, generally, yes, because it's basically
I mean, specifically-
being nice to
I
other
mean,
human beings.
Because I've generally looked into Islam, but I've not specifically read
Yeah.
the Quran. But if you go to the Humanist website, Humanist, then it'll specifically tell you.
Okay, so tell me something that I wouldn't know about humanists, for example. Something
Well,
that is
I
not
don't know.
common knowledge.
I'm just saying.
No.
You told me I should go away and have a look at the Quran. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm asking you from your. I'm assuming you have read the humanist websites. Can you tell me something from those pages that I, as a person who has not specifically looked into it, give me one example that I wouldn't know.
What I'm saying is that you've asked me to look into Islam. I'm asking you to look into humanism. So
Yeah, fair enough.
That's reciprocal, isn't it? And then just leave
Fair
it.
enough. I mean, I don't mind looking into it. To be honest, it's not no harm that I can see
Are you
being
an
done.
You've said, oh, I look like
Yeah.
an open-minded person, but would you consider yourself?
Yes, I would. Why do you think I read the other religious books?
Oh, you do?
Yes, I read the Bible. I've read.
Well, have you read the Book of Humanism?
I haven't read a particular book, but I'm sure I've read some of the websites and some of the people who talk about humanism. And that's the reason I asked you. Tell me something, as a common man, who would want to know about humanism, that maybe I've never heard something from that teaching that you might be able to shed light on.
We did touch on this.
Did touch what?
On the sun. In the sun. That it is possible for humans to derive morality from human experience and through empathy and understanding. With all the available evidence that there is to mankind, we can come to ethical decisions.
Yeah, but who decides what is moral in your worldview? Yeah, but you see, look, tell me if this is wrong. At one point in history, slavery was something which was perfectly legal. Colonialism was perfectly legal. Apartheid was completely legal. All this was considered by those people who practice it as moral, and it's perfectly allowed and permissible.
And it's not now, is it? That's progress for you. So that's humans working out.
No, but the same humans, the
themselves.
same people who considered as humanists, at one point considered that to be perfectly legal and okay.
As President Obama said, the arc of history is long.
Say again? The arc of history is long, yeah.
Yeah, things.
But it just shows how.
When Obama was walking young black school kids around the White House,
Yeah.
and they were saying to him how bad the United States was regards to racism
Right.
and all sorts of that. And he explained, if you lived in the 18th century, things were much worse then. And he used that phrase, the arc of history is long. At what point in history would you prefer to live?
You know,
And it's the answer.
you know
The
something?
answer is now.
Do you think now is the best time to live in history?
Probably it'll be in the future.
No. What do you think about now, the 21st century? Even during Obama's era, what do you think? Do you really think Mr. Obama was a perfectly moral person?
No one is a perfectly moral person.
Okay, do you think he was moral from any angle? He was the president of the United States, the most powerful country in the world, who would actually rain down missiles from far away.
I'm not going to sit in judgment upon
No, you don't have to sit in judgment. His own, government, when he was in government, he was the one who sanctioned missiles to rain down on people in Pakistan and in other places with drones. Yes, they might kill maybe one, terrorist, but then at the same time, from the 10 people that were killed, 9 would be completely innocent.
Like Tony Blair did. Pretty
Yeah,
similar.
so I wouldn't consider people like Obama to give us lectures on morality, you know?
Or maybe. But I think you might have a point that things have improved?
No,
in the
I don't
United
think so.
States from the
I don't
times of
think so. If you look at
slavery
history,
to today, when a black man can stand in the White
well,
House.
ask the black men in America what they are going through. Ask them how the police are hunting them down just because of their color. Yes? They're being stopped over there. So don't tell me about America and the black people over there. Because if you ask them, yes, you for a white man might be different. You haven't lived their life. You're not in their shoes. But if you actually ask them exactly how they're being treated in the 21st century, you'll have a very different perspective.
What I do know is what answer that Obama got from the black youth, that they would rather live now than any time in the past.
No, but that's not true. If you look at the past, the weapons of mass destruction are being manufactured today by countries like the United States. Yes? So if you go even during the Roman times, hold on. Hold on. Even during the Roman times, yes, I don't think they had such weapons which would kill and annihilate an entire nation, an entire city like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which were basically millions and thousands of people. Yes, thousands of people were massacred just because some powerful guy sitting in the White House, yes, said we can drop atomic bombs on these two cities. Now wait a minute. Do you believe in history there was such a weapon which would annihilate two entire cities and wipe off every living thing, whether it's an animal or a human or a plant? Yes, every living thing wiped out within minutes. Now you tell me which part of history which would have such weapons. So don't tell me people in the past were less moral and less, what do you say, less. No. We can look at history and we can see that things are not getting any better today.
Have you come across an author and professor, Steven Pinker? He's written a book recently.
What about his book?
Have you come across
No, I haven't.
Steven Pinker?
What's the point you're making?
Well, he's very well read, and he writes a book, a very influential book, about the fact that things are better now than they've ever been in human history. And he gives examples.
Well, I just give you an example. I just give you an example where you actually have weapons today which do not even require a person sitting in it, like drones. They might be thousands of miles away in America using a remote control. It is like it's like a video game for them. So don't tell me about morality coming from the United States and from Obama's government.
As I understand it, Genghis Khan killed up to a third of the world's population in the region that he knew.
And the point,
nuclear power.
and the point is, why did you pick on Genghis Khan? Why not Alexander the Great? Yeah.
Well, you say give you an example in history.
But even that is, hold on. Genghis Khan did not do like this within minutes. He did not kill people within minutes. I'm not, by the way, I would never support a person like Genghis Khan. He was a tyrant, and no doubt about it.
I'm not supporting him, but I'm saying he killed.
In history, yes, there have been wars. I'm not denying that.
In the region of the world.
Well, I don't know about a third of the population, but he did rule maybe over a third of the world. His what do you say? His kingdom.
Nuclear devices.
No, I wouldn't say it's much worse. These weapons today are much worse. Yes, because those people did not even have a chance to flee. When the weapons, like certain missiles, are rained down on them, yes, they do not have a chance to flee. When Genghis Khan's army was approaching, they can actually know from other people that the army is approaching. They might not be able to flee very quickly like they can today with our planes and with our what do you say, other means of transportation we have today. But maybe at that time they couldn't flee. But today, those people and those children who have been killed by these weapons controlled from thousands of miles away, yes, they do not even have a chance to flee today. So the weapons today are much worse.
You were right in there is far more potential for destruction with the technology.
Not only potential, it has happened, my friend. It is happening as we speak.
Not on the same scale as it happened under Genghis Khan.
Well, maybe for you the style might be different. For me the style is worse, if you ask me. The reason for that is because when you're sitting thousands of miles away, or you're raining down bombs from thousands of miles away, they do not see exactly the consequence of their destruction.
When we talk about mass destruction, socialism as an engine for mass destruction killed far more people than nuclear weapons has ever.
Say again?
Socialism killed up to 100 million people in the 20th century. That's far more dangerous than any nuclear weapon.
Which socialism?
Socialism as a concept.
During whose reign are you talking about?
All the socialism.
Maybe he's lived more than us, he knows better. Which can be true, yeah? Look, Whether it's, doesn't matter which ideology. Look here. Doesn't matter what ideology you follow. Trust me. Doesn't matter what ideology you follow. To kill an innocent person is wrong. Do you agree? Yes. Now this is a principle which
Innocent of what?
innocent means you cannot convict that person of any crime.
I've heard some people tell me how many people that Islam has killed.
When you say Islam, do you mean Islam or Muslims? Because Islam is an ideology, Islam is a religion. Yes? You cannot say Islam teaches you not to kill people who are innocent and to kill people who are guilty.
Okay, let's mix it up together.
In killing.
How many people has Islam and Muslims?
I don't know.
Them
When you say Islam, look, as far as Islam is concerned, the ideology itself doesn't support killing innocent people.
More than any nuclear weapon has ever done.
Oh really? Where did you get the stats from?
Someone just told me it.
Someone just told you. Wow, that's very scientific. I thought you're a person who believes in a scientific methodology.
You are well read. You will have heard.
I would challenge that person to prove the claim that he made.
Exactly. So you've heard it.
I don't have exact numbers. No, hold on. Just in today in the 21st century, I can tell you for a fact that I don't think a country, there's any country other than the United States who has killed more people. Today in the 21st century. No country has fought more wars than that country after the independence.
In the 21st. So you're saying forget history.
No, I'm not saying forget history. I gave you history. Yes, I gave you a history from World War I and World War II. Yes? Who are the perpetrators? Were they Muslim countries or non-Muslim countries who are the main perpetrators in that war? There you go. Today, most of the wars that you find in the Middle East are actually imported wars. So these are people who come from abroad and they bring the wars there. Even if there's an internal conflict, they would actually give them support. So the weapons which these people are using during the wars are actually manufactured by people like America and Russia, or also all European countries. So the weapons of mass destruction are actually produced and manufactured by them to be sold for profit to these so-called dictators.
Finish this discussion as we started it, because it started off, for your viewers now,
Yeah.
that I was saying that a friend of Muslim family who are friends of mine, their 7-year-old son came to me and asked me,
Yeah, that's an anecdotal
why
experience.
do Jews come in the middle of the night and stab Muslim babies?
I've already answered that question.
Yeah, so I'm just saying for your viewers, this is how the conversation started.
I think the viewers know. They're not going to jump to the end of the video. They will know the beginning. But what I'm saying is that do not judge people just by what they say. Sorry, do not judge a religion just by what people say or claim. For a person like you, if you're an open-minded people, you wouldn't read the first page and close the book. I suggest you read it fully and then grasp the ideology.
We'll have a discussion again sometime in the future, and I'll try and read the Quran a bit better than I did last time.
Yeah, definitely.
And you read a book on humanism.
Yes, no problem. Yes. All right, take care, Rob.
What was your name?
Hashim.
Sam. Hashim.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Just to wrap up quickly, basically, we just want to inform people not to judge a religion based on the people that follow and claim to follow that religion. Because if we did that, then people will say what ISIS is doing is what Islam is, or what KKK are doing, or what people in Central Africa are doing is what Christianity is, or what maybe certain people, the Buddhists are doing in Myanmar, to the people in Burma, are what the Buddhists are. So do not judge the religion by the people who claim to follow that religion. Judge it by the scripture. So if you find something in the scripture which says to go and kill the innocent people, then you ask them the question, why does a religion teach such things? Because if you look at the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah, chapter 5, verse 32, it says very clearly that if anyone kills one man who is innocent without guilt, yes, it is as if you have killed the whole of mankind. And if you save one man, it is as if you have saved the whole of mankind. Now this is the central principle which is taught in Islam. So you cannot just go and kill unnecessarily without a cause, without a reason, someone who is innocent. So we do not believe in what the West today calls as, they use certain euphemisms where they say collateral damage, like when they rain a missile or when they rain from a drone and bomb people and women and children. They say, oh, we killed one terrorist, but then the 9 people who died, that's a collateral damage. No, it doesn't work like that. You do not kill unnecessarily. Yes, because that doesn't actually bring people and understand your cause, it only creates more enemies for you. Unfortunately, we see this time and time again in history, that when you do not abide by justice, then the person or the people who have been victimized by the injustice, they will want to seek revenge, and this will become a vicious cycle, and this is something that we do not want to happen. So inshallah, God willing, we look at Islam from the teachings of Islam, from the true teachings of Quran and Hadith, and then we judge, and the same applies to other religions and other faiths as well. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.